We're almost a month and a half into 2026, which means 80% of people have already given up on their New Year's resolutions. But this is really not their fault, because we're always taught to have goals to achieve, but we're never taught how to plan for these goals. But don't worry, in this video, I'm going to share with you a simple 4-step process that has helped me set and achieve goals for many years now. So let's not waste any more time and get into step 1. Step 1. Working lists. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make when setting goals is setting too many of them. Remember, when you have many priorities, you essentially have none. The best way I've found to limit the number of goals is by using Warren Buffett's 2-list method. Essentially, you create one list with 25 goals you want to achieve. In a second list, you pick 5 of these goals and discard the rest of the 20. Why? Because these 20 take up so much of our time and energy when they're really not even that important on our priority list. Don't worry though, you can always accomplish these goals later on when you have already achieved the top 5 goals. Moving on to step 2, identities. Another big pitfall when it comes to setting goals is looking at them in terms of their results instead of their outcomes or identities that you've created in the process of achieving them. James Clear talks about this a lot in his book Atomic Habits. Let me give you an example to clarify what this means. Suppose I want to create the habit of hitting the gym regularly. I could think of this in terms of losing weight, or I could frame this as becoming a gym girl. Our actions often tend to align with our self-perspective. So when you tell yourself you're a gym girl, you tend to show up. And every single time you show up, you give yourself the evidence that you are in fact a gym girl. Another advantage of looking at goals from this perspective is that it frames your mind in terms of the longer term process instead of the short term results. Which means that you'll keep going even if you achieve the goal you set initially. But how does this apply to the 5 goals that we selected in the previous step? Well, for every goal that you selected, you create an identity and accompanying actions or small things that you can do on a regular basis to prove that identity to yourself. So a good example would be, suppose my goal is to achieve better grades. The identity linked with that is becoming a better student. And the actions linked to that are studying every day for 1 hour. But as humans, we tend not to do things unless they are required. So let's move on to the next step, schedule. In this step, we will create a separate calendar for every single identity that you want to work on. You could also create calendars by type of task or any other organization system that works better for you. But what I want you to do is to block time for each one of those 5 goals. Use the actions you wrote in the previous step and create events in your calendars. Continuing our studying example, I would add, I will study for 1 hour at 5 p.m. every single day. And that's about it. But we're missing something really important. The last step, which is executing. As Maya Angelou said, nothing will work unless you do. Now that you know your priorities, the identities associated with those priorities, the small actions that you need to take to achieve those goals, as well as when you will take those actions, we move on to the last step, which is executing. Remember, every time you show up for yourself, you are giving yourself proof that you are in fact creating the identity that your goals reflect. And if you're still here watching this, I know you will show up. That's it for my very first YouTube video. It's been a pleasure, y'all. If this video helped you in any way, consider subscribing so I could reach even more people. Have a wonderful goal-setting journey.